Hi there, Michael Sarabi with CPAC. The question is actually for you, Premier Ford. And I appreciate today's announcement has to do with pipelines and energy corridors. But given that amongst the regulations being pointed out is the EV mandate, what does today's announcement, how does that affect your past enthusiasm to develop battery plants in Ontario as well as have EVs manufactured in Ontario?
Well, I always believe I'm a big proponent of the market dictates. The market will dictate, not governments will dictate. We have to get rid of these mandates that companies won't be able to meet their targets. And let's continue investing. I'm confident that eventually the EV sector per se will continue growing. But right now, the people are going to decide. But let's not slow down on building the battery plants and any other EV plants, but who knows this the best but the auto sector, and they'll determine that. But we're going to continue investing in the market itself.
Yeah. I'll just add a couple things. I think Doug produces 1.2 million cars, and Canadians buy about 1.2 million cars. So we've, as a province, taken the leadership in saying we're going to prioritize fleet vehicles that are made and finished in Ontario. And there's some great options. There's light-duty vehicles, heavy-duty vehicles, there's hybrid vehicles. And so we would hope that others would look at it in the same way, that if the Americans are going to take a hostile approach against our auto industry, I think it's up to us to be supportive. When it comes to electric vehicles, we only have a very small percentage of electric vehicles that have been purchased in Alberta. And as I mentioned, if we were to try to meet the mandate in Alberta alone, we'd have to buy all of the low emissions vehicles currently being produced in Ontario, which is impossible for the entire country to achieve, which means this policy is forcing us to look outside of supporting for Ontario in order to be able to achieve it. And I guess the last thing I'd say is that we think that we're trying to build our hydrogen economy in Alberta. We've bought the Edmonton International Airport bought 100 Toyota Mirais, which is the passenger vehicle. We're doing a dual fuel pilot with the trucking industry. CP is building hydrogen locomotives in our province. We have hydrogen for home heating, hydrogen as well that we're looking for electricity. But I would love to see the Ontario manufacturers figure out a way that we could perhaps have a hydrogen combustion engine. I know Toyota is made here. And then that may be a way for us to reach zero emissions targets a different way. I think that we have to allow the market and innovators to be able to meet the needs of each individual marketplace. And so I'm hoping we can have a really constructive conversation with Ontario about that now. I've begun it as well with individuals with Toyota who've been in our province. And so let's just have a little more latitude to allow for the market to work and innovation to work. That's what I would say, and I think we can all benefit from that.
I'd maybe speak a little bit on that. As Doug said, or Premier Ford, pardon me, said the market will drive this, and I think we're seeing that as well. And we shouldn't forget about just how integrated our economy is interprovincially, but also across North America. And this is maybe something for us to remember as we engage with the Trump administration and the current U.S. administration. But we are very, very integrated, and we're integrated for a reason, because it's the most efficient to produce things. We had a steak yesterday. Like that animal is likely born in Saskatchewan, finished in Alberta, and is now sold by an Ontario grocer out here. That's how integrated our Canadian economy is on every front. When it comes to manufacturing, whether they be e-vehicles, gas-powered vehicles, whatever that is, you're going to see that largely happening in Ontario from a Canadian perspective. But as we move to EVs, there's also further integration that is occurring there. There's rare earths, critical minerals that are going to come from Quebec, the Ring of Fire in Ontario, but also from Western Canada as well. We've opened a processing facility for rare earths, of which there's much interest around the world, that would ultimately, in the future, build the battery elements for just such vehicles as the market determines the outbuild of that. And so, I think often we get thoughts that, this is largely an impact only to Ontario, but we are so very integrated across our provinces, whether it's in our food production, whether it's in our energy security and what we provide to other Canadians, which was in a former question, or more generally in our economy. When one decision is made in one part of the country, it often has a ripple effect in other areas, whether we recognize it or not.